This looks kind of junky. This is our equipment shed, but you should have seen it before we started. It had gotten rough. It had just kind of been added to and stuff packed in it for a long time, and so this week we jerked every single thing out of it, and you can see just some of the things that were packed in here. I normally don't show my dirty laundry, but anyhow, still got some junk, scrap metal needs to be cleaned out. We're getting down to a deadline because we got some rain coming. This is new. We just added this in here. This is going to be like hand tools, chemicals for now, till I get my new building built with the water tanks and everything. And so all of our small irrigation piece parts and chemicals and hand tools and everything can be stored in here. It's coming together pretty good. Old window that came out of my house. I think I'm gonna shoot a new coat of paint on this thing at some point here soon when we get finished. But I still got to put a step in here, and holding true to the way that I've built this whole equipment shed from the start, all of this lumber, everything in this building except for the metal on top is either came off my sawmill or it's repurposed. So like this old Tony Groove wood here came out of our house, some stuff we had to tear out, and the guys are getting on with the program here. We'll saw this off after we finish. They finished putting it on, and we're gonna skin this whole thing with that old metal that came off my house all the way up to the rafters. So won't be able to put anything real heavy up here because it's just got 2x6 joist, but it will be nice because we got plenty of light things that can be put up here. And then down here we got 12x12 that we can put shelving around for irrigation parts and chemicals and etc. Sprinklers, stuff really adds up. But this morning part of the guys are going to try to finish this up. Part of them are going to pick strawberries, and I'm going to spread compost and get to disking and get ready to lay plastic. Time of year before we can really get started with our day, somebody's got to water the greenhouse. So this week I've been trying to get here pretty early to get this knocked out before everybody else gets here. And for all of the stuff like these tomatoes, everything in small cells has to be watered multiple times a day. The hanging baskets, usually once they get to this growth stage, they're consuming a lot of water. They do have to be watered pretty much every day, but once a day is usually sufficient on them. But the smaller stuff, multiple times a day, depending on how hot it is. Hot tip for you if you're still learning like I am and you're trying to prevent stretching on vegetable plants or bedding plants, there's 3 things that you can do to help. Number 1, limit their water. Particularly with tomatoes, most things really are a lot tougher than you think they are. It's okay to let them wilt just a little bit before you water them. And when you water them, don't soak them. Just give them enough, just enough to limp them along. It'll make a tougher plant that's not going to wilt down when you set it out in the field, and it will keep it from stretching, because too much water is probably the fastest way to make them stretch. Number 2, not enough light. You see, this kind of looks like a little bit of a mess here, but everything is separated by category or by variety. But once tomatoes get to a certain height, we start separating flats. We do that to prevent stretching. If you leave them all packed together, you will start noticing they're short and stocky around the edges, and they'll get tall in the middle. And if you separate the trays, you really cut down on that. And the third thing that's a little more difficult to control is temperature. The cooler you can keep it, the shorter your plants are going to be. That's easier said than done, but that's the way it is. So 3 things to help keep your vegetable plants short. I was just riding out here, take a look at our blackberries. We did some work out here yesterday. We got a new irrigation system hooked up. Well, it's not a new irrigation system, but we changed our source. We're coming out of the greenhouse over here now instead of pumping all the way from the creek. So same drip lines, just a different manifold from the upper end of the field coming out of the spigot where we can put it on a timer and fertilize from the chemilizer. We also came through here and trellised these. They're still kind of woolly looking, but they were all laid out in the row middles and kind of got them whipped into shape. I'm not sure if we'll be able to sell them all, but we're going to have a heck of a crop of blackberries unless something happens. You can see they are looking really good. If every one of these white blooms makes a blackberry, well, we're going to have a pile. All right, over here to number 1. This is our selling house, and I need to do some touch up in here. Try not to water too heavy in here ever, because we don't want to make a mess in people's vehicles. But everything in here is looking really good. We're gonna have these $10 tomatoes that are 20 at Home Depot. We're gonna have fruit on these suckers before long. These seem to be really popular. The petunias are really in the trays. We're probably gonna have to start pruning these pretty soon because they're running out of dirt to work with. You can see they're getting kind of long. Hanging baskets are really looking pretty. Bloom Masters, I didn't start those early enough, but you learn as you go along. But these will be really, really pretty when they do get grown out. You can see the pink ones are starting to get there. Once they get grown out, it's going to be just a massive ball of blooms. So I got this spreader borrowed from my uncle, and I think this is the one that Noah used to clean out the ark with after he landed on some dry land. And I was advised by my uncle that he didn't know how good any portion of it was, so I should start small. So we're gonna spread 1 scoop and make sure we don't break the floor chain or bottom falls out or something. So we'll see how this goes. few people ask me about how I get land ready to lay plastic, and somebody recently asked about disking, and you can see I just got done with a little bit of disking here, but if you watch my earlier videos, you'll see, sorry, I hope the wind noise ain't too bad here. If you watch my earlier videos from several years ago, you'll see I used to do a whole lot of disking, and I still do some if I have to, but if I can avoid it at all, I try to not even get it out. The reason for that is a disc moves around dirt way too much, makes it rough, and you can have a field slick as a button and disc it, and it'll take you a long time to get it back slick, because it just it grooves the field up, and it also kind of makes mounds if you ain't careful. But the other thing is compaction. Disc hard really causes a lot of compaction issues in a field, but sometimes you just need it to chop up debris, or like this field was pretty cloddy, and the reason that it was cloddy, or still kind of is cloddy, is we had, I don't know, about 100 loads, dump truck loads of dirt piled right here in the corner of this field, and we got it all out of here, built a greenhouse pad and a shop pad last fall, and so a lot of 953 Caterpillar traffic and dump truck traffic on it, and it just was packed so dang hard. I should have chiseled it in the fall and let it lay where it could have froze out. It would have probably helped a lot with the clod issue, but anyhow, that's where we're at. Getting ready to lay some plastic. It's not going to be on this video. Probably make another video tomorrow, and it probably will put it up next week. We're going to be laying some green plastic, and green is supposed to be as hot as clear, but as hold the weeds back as good as black. So I don't know, we've got a little bit we've already laid, got some green beans, corn growing on it. Don't know how good it's going to do, but I will keep you posted on it. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you on the next one.